Hello EFD squad, today we bring you our top 10 of the world's most dangerous football fans. Part 2, brace yourselves. 10. Roma. We begin in Italy and a group of fans who have become notorious for their behaviour during European competitions in recent years. Rome has historically been a fortress of a city, but a group of their most thuggish supporters take this sentiment a bit too literally when foreign supporters arrive in the city, and the results have been brutal. In 2001, when Liverpool came to play the Giallorossi in the UEFA Cup, Roma ultras ambushed the away fans at the stadium, even beating up a television crew and stabbing 6 people in the arse. And it appears this strange act of knifing is a tradition among the club's hardcore, as when Middlesbrough and Man United visited the Stadio Olimpico in 2006 and 2007, they went about the same business. Borough fans even claimed they saw one of the ultras brandishing an axe. 9. Barcelona. You may be a bit surprised at this one. Barcelona have been far more associated with attractive football and trophies than fan trouble over the past 15 years, but they do have a very dark history. In the 1980s, a Barca fan group emerged called Boixos Nois, which translates as the Crazy Boys. A far-right Catalan separatist group, they initially enjoyed a special relationship with the club's hierarchy, despite a tendency to brandish swastikas in the stadium, and were landed in further controversy when one of its members stabbed an Espanyol fan to death in 1991. He was sentenced to 26 years behind bars, but the group remained powerful as the club claimed no responsibility as the incident happened outside of the Camp Nou. But things came to a head in 2003 as Boixos Nois protested against Luis Bassat's campaign to become club president because he was a Jew. When his competitor Joan Laporta won the election, he banned the ultras from attending matches. He subsequently had death threats painted on his wall and was attacked as he left his home. 8. Sparta Prague. Sparta Prague are known for possessing one of the most well-organised ultra groups in Central and Eastern Europe, and they don't pull any punches when it comes to conflict. Ultras Praha have a history of violent clashes, no more so than when city rivals Slavia are the opposition. But Sparta's hardcore do not reserve their hooliganism just for opposing fans. In 2006, they caused outrage by attacking former Hearts chairman George Fuchs when the Scottish club came to Prague for a UEFA Cup tie. Thankfully, Fuchs, who was in his late 60s and was enjoying a drink outside a bar near the stadium when he was knocked to the ground and kicked in the head, was saved by a fellow Jambos fan. 7. Millwall. Millwall fans are notorious for their violence. Some have even gone to say that football hooliganism in England was started there in the mid-60s. Their first instance of football violence was in 1906 against who else but West Ham, and over 110 years later, they don't seem like they're finished. From coins and bottles to even hand grenades thrown during matches, Millwall's history is littered with pre, during and post-match violence. And with the rise of the plague that was football hooliganism in the 1980s, Millwall's notoriety grew with it, leading to plenty of injuries, arrests and fines. A notable incident came at a playoff semi-final against Birmingham in 2002, when after the game, fans turned their anger at the loss onto other fans and then police. 47 officers were injured, plus 24 police horses. Football hooliganism in England has died down on the whole, but some Millwall fans still hold on to the mantra of being the most violent club in England, with their favourite chant, "No one likes us, we don't care." Well, at least they know. 6. Partizan Belgrade. If you're a fan of throwing chairs and lighting flares, you'll find yourself at home in Belgrade, home to one of the world's most fierce derbies. But Partizan fans do not reserve their violence exclusively for their Red Star rivals. It seems they will fight anyone who opposes them in any way, even assaulting each other during one game in 2013. Their far-right views and links to communism have made them one of the most feared fan groups in the world, and they're not shy about these opinions either. With banners and chants spouting homophobic views, not showering themselves in glory, their violent acts are something else. Clashes with their eternal rivals Red Star are well documented, but their violence goes far further than being just a domestic issue, with the worst instance leading to a Toulouse fan losing his life during a clash between the two sides in 2009. 5. Red Star Belgrade. Like Partizan, Red Star's violence has been ever present in their history. From the Dinamo Red Star riot in 1990 to paramilitary commander Arkan leading their ultras, Red Star's politically driven thuggery has, like Millwall, made them more famous than the football their team plays. In 2016, they had 45 fans arrested before a Champions League qualifier against Bulgarian side Ludogorets, because, as you may have guessed, violence broke out between Red Star firm Delier, meaning the brave, opposition fans and the police. Even more seriously, in 2016, Red Star's game against Borac Kashak in the Serbian top flight was called off as one of their own fans was killed in fighting between the two sides. But it doesn't stop there. In March 2017, two Lokomotiv Moscow fans were stabbed as Red Star played them in a not-so-friendly friendly. 4. Universitario de Deportes. Over to Peru now, which has also seen fan violence result in tragic consequences in recent years. And there is no group of fans more notorious than those of Universitario de Deportes. The club's radical ultras are among the most feared in the whole of South America, and have a reputation for torching cars and buses of rival fans, looting and even firing guns. But arguably their most harrowing act of violence came in 2011, when they threw a fan of arch-rivals Alianza Lima over the edge of a stand in the Estadio Monumental. Walter Oyarce Dominguez, who was just 23, fell 50 feet and later died from the head injury he sustained. The perpetrators were sentenced to 35 years in prison, although it was later reduced to 25. 3. Catania. When most football supporters think about fan violence in Italy, the names which usually come up are Lazio and the aforementioned Roma. But in 2007, supporters of Sicilian outfit Catania brought their club's image into disrepute after their derby with rivals Palermo. Due to problems outside the stadium, Palermo's fans only made it to their seats after half-time, at which point flares and firecrackers were thrown onto the pitch. But it was after the game that things got really nasty. Riots broke out on the streets and tragedy struck when authorities tried to intervene. Local police officer Filippo Rossetti, who had given evidence in court against a hooligan just a week earlier, was killed in the melee. In the aftermath, all football-related activities were suspended in the country. 2 and 1, Marseille and PSG. Taking our final two places are clubs who possess one of Europe's most unexpected rivalries. For fans in France though, Marseille versus PSG, or Le Classique as it's commonly known, starkly represents the social and cultural divide between the north and south of the country. After right-wing extremists began to follow the club in the 1980s, PSG became synonymous with nationalism, while Marseille's mix of Spanish, Italian and North African immigrants has owed them a far more multicultural image. And although it only emerged in the mid-1980s, the rivalry between OM and Les Parisiens has quickly become one of the fiercest rivalries on the continent, and has endured its fair share of atrocities over the years. In 1995, a riot broke out following the two clubs' cup semi-final, leading to 146 arrests and leaving 9 policemen in hospital. 7 years later, a Marseille fan was paralysed for life after being struck by a chair thrown from the PSG stand. And in 2010, a Paris fan was put into a coma and eventually died after being attacked by members of another PSG supporters group. Fan violence in France was allegedly not even a thing until a friendly between the national team and England in the 80s saw 3 Lions fans wreak havoc in Paris. Les Bleus supporters clearly got ideas, and it came full circle at Euro 2016, when drunk and rowdy English fans were targeted not only by Russian ultras, but also by local Marseille hooligans. So that was part 2 of our top 10 most dangerous football fans. But what did you think? As always, let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, why not check out this week's Stat Wars, where Chris and Pat have another epic battle. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe.